Hey everybody, how's it going? HP here. I'm here in my new map, Ascend, a Minecraft map by me. Yeah, so this is my new map. It's a puzzle map. I know the rules, so I don't need to go read the README. So this is going to be a walkthrough with a little bit of like developer commentary as well. Not much else to say really, but to get into it, there's 15 levels. You can download it on the Minecraft forums. I'll have a link in the description. But yeah, so here we go. Like I said, there's 15 levels. I'm playing on my alt, as you can see here, Orzava 339. It's because one of my favorite magic cards is Gift of Orzava. Let's get out of that. Alright. My favorite magic cards, because I'm a nerd. So each level, the goal is to ascend to the top of this wall, or to the top of the level, specifically. This one is a wall. And you can do that by almost any means necessary. You're not allowed to break any of the blocks in the level that were previously placed. So if you place any blocks, you can break those. There is one exception, because there's always an exception to the rule, and that's that you're allowed to break any cobwebs that were in the level. Obviously, this one is just a parkour course. It's kind of lets you know that the goal is to get up top to familiarize you with the, well, crap. That is the first time in all of my testing of this that I've done that, and, of course, it's when I'm recording. Okay, well, anyway, let's continue this. Alright, level 2. Now, you notice if you press tab that I have a score up there. It's 199 now. You start at 200. You lose 1 point every minute. And you also lose points for a couple other things. Mainly if you use hints or you reset the level. If you reset, you lose 5 points. And if you use a hint, you lose 2 points. Now, with resetting, part of resetting is it does kill you, the map, the world, whatever. And so whenever you die, you lose 3 points. And those 3 points are included in that reset. So, sorry, whenever you die, you lose 2 points. And the other 3 points happen just because you reset. So, alright, so this is the first, actual level where you have to figure something out. It's pretty simple, though. Still giving you the introduction. So with this one, you just craft the logs into planks. You need to use those two as, blocks to get up, because you don't have quite enough to ascend the whole wall without them. And that's it. Now this level's pretty easy, and it can actually be done several different ways, which we're actually about to do in these upcoming levels. The point of it was to introduce the player to crafting and let them know they're allowed to place blocks and stuff. So this one, you'll notice you actually just have one less block than the last room, otherwise it's exactly the same. And so this one, you have to figure out that you need to increase your block count. And so there's some item that you can craft that does that, and that's going to be planks. It doubles them pretty much, and then you can just use these to ascend. So you have a little more than necessary. I could have made it so there were like 2 walls to ascend, but I figured early on I'd prefer to just let the player do that. They don't have to use everything. Alright, this is the third level. Now this one has a bit of a interesting mechanic, if you will. You're given 2 logs, and you'd think you'd be able to just make them into planks or slabs like you have in the last 2 levels and go up. But you can see here there's a tip: don't place slabs or planks. If you do, you actually die. It kills you. So with this one, you have to craft them into planks, and then craft them into sticks. And you can use the sticks to make ladders. And yeah, that's all for that level. So far, all these have been pretty easy. Still kind of just introducing the player to the mechanics of the game. This is the first one I'd say is a real challenge. Notice you are allowed to place planks and slabs again. And I do start to mislead the player a little bit by giving them a few extra items, and you'll see this a lot through the levels. Generally, they aren't just totally random items. Generally, there's something at least logical for the level, even if it's not the solution. So most people figure out that you can break these cobwebs to make some string and then make a wool block. There's 2 ways to do that. I actually gave you sticks, so you could make a sword as well. Either way is fine. That's not meant to be the huge challenge of the level. And there is, of course, a little parkour here. Nothing too hard. The only real challenging parkour jump is at the end of the map. So you do that very fancy parkour. You can use this to get here. Come over here. And obviously now the issue is we have this extra half block that we have to get up. So you have to figure out how to do that. Now when you take damage in Minecraft, it actually knocks you a little bit. And it will actually knock you enough that we can get up that extra half block. So we need to find a way to take damage, which, as you see, I just crafted a flint and steel, which can damage you. So if we set ourselves on fire, we should be able to make the jump up. It might take a few attempts. There we go. And there's some handy-dandy water here to extinguish yourself. And that's it. Alright. We can see our score is 195, so we've been playing about 5 minutes. This one, again, kind of ups the parkour a little bit. It's a little more challenging than the any of the last rooms. Now, this one looks pretty basic, but the observant people, which I'm sure is most of you, will notice that there's a chest over there. And you can't access it yet from anywhere we've been, but it's important to know it's there, because you can't solve the puzzle without it. Now, I am so bad at this jump. Oh, yeah. So bad. Alright, so you can see there I lost 2 points for dying, which is sad. I wanted to get the perfect score here. My best score so far through my playtest has been 179. And at this rate, I'm not going to beat that. Oh. Now, this is something that it doesn't mention in the README or on the forum or anything, but there's actually 3 secret rooms in the map. And each one you find, you'll get an extra 10 points added to your score. Not that it matters, because I'm just, I'm going to die 100 times here, but you'll get an extra 10 points added to your score. So it's theoretically possible, like your maximum quote-unquote starting score is, maybe I can get to the water? Yes. Is 230. But since the map takes at least like 20 to 25 minutes to play, I'd say the truly maximum score is probably like 205, 210. So even though we didn't get the jump, we can actually still get this lava bucket. If you remember, it was right about here. And when I say lava bucket, I know that's what's in the chest. Oh, there we go. And then you can just empty the lava, pick up some water. And I'm going to grab another source block here. And then you can swim up. So I'm not going to say where the secret rooms are. I'm not going to reveal it. I'll let you find them on your own. But I will say that the first one is in this room. So yeah. Alright, on to level 7. We're doing pretty well so far. Died a few too many times, but that's okay. Alright, so again, I gave you a few extra items here. But the basic challenge of this one is you need to go up 2 blocks, and you don't really look like you have enough supplies to make any blocks, but of course you do. You can make an iron trap door. Now by itself, this only gets you up 1 block. But if you craft a redstone torch, and I'm going to craft 2 just because I can, YOLO. If you craft a redstone torch, you can actually trigger the door, which will let you go up an extra block. So notice I placed that on the bottom edge of that block, which is important because when we activate the redstone torch to activate the door, it's going to flip up. If we'd put it on the top, it would have flipped down. And, well, you need to hit that jump first. It's a very easy jump, but there we go. Alright, so now you'll see if we kind of jump and put the redstone torch there, now we've gone up that extra block so we can make no jumps because we're really bad at life. But theoretically, you can make that jump. I've never missed that jump either in playtests. I've missed plenty of the other jumps that I missed, like on the last one, but I've never missed that jump. Alright, now on this level, you notice you actually got a little bit of a hint when we entered. We lost hunger. Which indicates that you may have to eat something. Now, I do give you some cooked steak here. that you can eat, but you actually shouldn't, especially if you're trying to go for a good score, because that will increase the amount of time the map takes. You actually need to be hungry for this level. The reason being is that there's another half block that we have to get up over here that you can kind of see. We can use 7 of these sticks to craft some ladders, which we can place like so, and that gets us all the way up except for 1 half block. So again, we need to take some damage somehow. Now, you can starve yourself, and I don't like that that's a possibility just because it detracts from the actual goal of the puzzle. But, unfortunately, you have to be hungry to use the actual solution for the puzzle. So, what you have to do is craft a fishing rod, and you'll see when you craft a fishing rod, you actually get this special enchanted fishing rod. And I did that just to increase the rate at which you fish. You are looking for specifically a puffer fish, because when you eat that, that will poison you, which will allow you to take damage, which will boost you up that extra half again. And the chance of catching a puffer fish is not super high. I think on average it takes like 15 fishes. Or you should get 1 every 15. I should say that doesn't mean it takes 15. And I think with the current, how this is set up and your rod and everything, I think you probably catch a fish about every 20 seconds, every 25 on average. So that could conceivably be a decent amount of time. Like 3 to 5 minutes, which is not super fun, especially when you do lose a point every minute and every point counts. Not that I think this map would ever be like speed run or anything, or people really, really trying to get that high score. But if people were, maybe they'd, there'd be a rule that once you've caught your first fish or something, you can just give yourself a puffer fish using a /give command. Just because there's so much randomness involved here, that it makes it not fun. Like, if you catch the puffer fish the first time, then you could have just saved 2 or 3 minutes, which in a speed run is a crazy amount of time. So I did, while I was designing this, consider just giving the player a puffer fish as soon as they caught their first fish. Well, there we go. That wasn't too bad. But I decided that detracted from the puzzle aspect, which is, I think, what most people will play this map for. They won't be playing for speedrunning, if anybody does, or for a high score. The issue is if I give you the puffer fish, the player can figure out that they need to eat the puffer fish. Oh man, I'm struggling on this jump here. It won't kill me because it's on easy, but now I'm gonna take. Now I may have to catch another puffer fish, which could be a problem here. There we go. Oh, that was lucky. Okay. Yeah, so I decided not to do that, basically because given the amount of supplies you're given, a lot of people are going to just figure out you have to craft a fishing rod, especially because there's water and stuff. It's just kind of an obvious thing to craft with what you have, even if you don't know the solution that you need the puffer fish. And so if I were to then give you the puffer fish right away, it makes it more obvious. So yeah, that's why I didn't do that in the map. Alright, so this is another level where you can't place planks or slabs, basically because if you could, you'd be able to solve the level with them, and that's not the intended solution. This one is fairly obvious as well. Basically, the player can determine, okay, there's ice, I've got to melt it, and there's only a few ways you can melt ice. With lava, which we don't have. You can use a furnace next to it, but we're not allowed to move this furnace. Well, we're not allowed to break it, and we don't have any way to move it like a piston or anything. So, the other easy option is a torch, and we do have the ability to make a torch. We don't have any coal, but we can make charcoal. Now, the issue is if we need charcoal, then that means we need, or if we're going to craft torches, that means we need sticks. And since we only have 2 planks, we have to make sticks. But we do only need 1 stick. So we can use those as the rest of the fuel. Now, you notice you're given an iron ore block as well. And I needed to give the player a block, and I'll show you why in a minute. But I decided iron ore just because it may trick some players into trying to smelt it and getting confused on what they actually have to do. But the reason you need it is because this ice block is actually 2 away from the wall. So the issue is if you melt it with a torch, and it'll do that in probably 10 to 15 seconds. Once you melt it, it won't update. It won't flow down. So you need to have something to update it, which, unfortunately for you, if you didn't realize you needed the iron block, can't be another torch. You can't place another one on there. So you need a block. And whenever this melts, we can do that. This is another random factor. However, the variance, it's the amount of time it generally, this is longer than normal, but the amount of time it generally adds is less than this usually. I haven't seen it take this long actually in a while. And so it's the difference usually between like 10 and 20 seconds, which is certainly relevant to speedruns, but I think that's an acceptable thing. And again, I don't expect people to speedrun this, but I still like to consider that fact. Alright. Now, as you can kind of see on the sign, you can't jump in this level. Which is interesting, because we have to ascend this wall here, which is, what, 7 blocks high? So, obviously you're going to need to craft something that you can walk up, or something that teleports you, or something like that, and this one's going to be something that you can walk up. So, we got some stuff here. So we got a piston, and one of the blocks we're going to have to use to get up is this chest. Now normally, sorry, this is a crafting table, not a chest. Normally there's a chest on top of the crafting table, but you'll notice this time it is a dispenser. And the reason for that is that I didn't want you to be able to jump on the crafting table and then onto the chest like you normally have to in levels. This is completely solid. And when I say jump, I mean like walk up. So what we'll do here is craft a button, get a free sign, which is very exciting. Then we need to make something that we can walk up, which is, of course, slabs again. The only thing we can make slabs of that we have enough of is bricks, so we make those. Then you just have to be careful with placing these, because you don't get them back if you place them in the wrong spot, so you'll have to reset, which will cost you not only time, but it'll also cost you points, which, I mean, you want to get the best score you can, so. Alright. A kind of weird thing is that, ooh, now see, that was lucky. I did place the wrong kind of block there, but it happened to be the one that I can get back. So that was pretty lucky. But an interesting thing is, and you may have just heard it earlier, is even if you go down a half a block, you'll hear the leg breaking noise, which is kind of weird. It's because of the jump boost effect, but it's still weird. And then the last block you place, I guess you could really do this anywhere, it doesn't have to be the last one, but is the piston. And then you can just piston yourself up, and there we go. Alright, this one is probably my favorite puzzle. Notice you can jump again. It's a redstone puzzle. You have to send a strength 15 redstone signal to all 3 of the red blocks. And it's fairly straightforward, but it definitely takes a little bit of critical thinking to figure out how to do it. So you're given these 2 tripwire hooks, which makes it fairly obvious that you're going to have to make a trip line to trigger one of them. So what you need to do is craft these shears. Then you need to collect 4 of the cobwebs. You shouldn't collect this one. The level is still technically beatable, even if you do, but it makes it a lot easier. You're definitely not supposed to collect that one. You're supposed to leave it there. Basically, when the items fall, when you toss the items to trigger this this tripwire, which is what we'll do kind of at the end, having the cobweb there slows them down. That makes the jump a little bit easier. It's still a little finicky, but it's definitely better than not having it. And it makes placing that easier. Alright. Another way we're going to do it is a weighted pressure plate. And the final one's going to be a wood button with an arrow shot into it. Now you'll notice I had to use this plank when I placed down the dirt for that second tripwire hook. So if the player crafted this wood button before they did that, they actually wouldn't be able to beat the level, and they'd have to start over. Now, we're given all these, which are full items, which we can put on that weighted pressure plate, but we don't have quite enough, so we have to craft this golden shovel, which is the last thing you can craft with your items. And that lets you actually have enough items. Nice. Alright, and we just toss all this stuff down. And there we go. And we've got 3. This is a little bit hard sometimes. Yeah. Now see, that one didn't slow it down at all. It's a little tricky. It's definitely doable. There we go. See, that one, it slowed it down a little bit. So there we go. Just rechecked it. So it's a little finicky, but it's definitely doable after 1 or 2 tries. All right. Now this level, I actually had to redesign because there was another solution that I hadn't realized the time I initially designed it. And these are actually completely miscellaneous. You don't need them. They're there just to throw you off track. They probably don't throw most people off track, but, you know, it was worth a shot. So on this one, you have to craft a minecart and then some powered rails. When I originally designed it, you just crafted regular rails. But the issue is with 6 iron ingots, you can also just craft iron bars. And that gives you 16 of them, which is more than enough to complete the level. So I had to change it to the powered rails, which is fine. I think it's a little easier to spot when it's the iron anyway. So I don't have any problem with that. Then you just place a rail there, minecart, and get into it. You can definitely try to dismount here. I usually place another one just to make sure you don't get dismounted over the side. And then you do it all over again. There's 2 ledges because you do have enough iron there to craft an iron door, and you could craft a redstone torch. And that is enough to get you up this first ledge, so I had to add a second one. So that the player couldn't just use the iron door trick again. And iron trapdoor is, of course, what I mean. Alright, so this is the last regular level. This is also the second room that contains one of the secret rooms. Again, I won't show it to you, but it is in this room, and it's pretty easy to find. Alright, this jungle sapling is also just completely unnecessary. Again, kind of just there to throw you off. So what we're going to do here is, because all we need to do on this one is go up 1 block. These are also extraneous. We just need to go up 1 block. Well, 2 blocks, but we're given the 1. So we just need to go up 1 more block. And it's pretty obvious, I think. You just need to collect some seeds. And then you can till the grass, and you can get some wheat. And craft a block of wheat. Now, I generally want to get multiple seeds here. It doesn't happen a lot, but it's definitely possible that you won't get a seed back when you break this, either because it falls to the ground or it just doesn't give you one, which is definitely rare. I think it's supposed to always give you one, but sometimes it doesn't. So just to be safe, or like if you accidentally break it early or something, I don't know. Just to be safe, I usually get a second seed, or 3 or 4, just because I don't want to risk. Because if it falls down there, I don't want to have to jump down there. That'll take a lot longer, because I'll have to get another 9 wheat. The cool thing about this is you can get as many blocks effectively now as you need for the level. You only need the 1. There's no reason to get any more unless you have to. But you can. So you get that, and up we go. Alright, on to the next level. So this one obviously is a little bit different. I didn't want to confine the level to that space anymore. The third secret is actually also on this one, but I again won't show you. We're doing pretty well. I haven't died too many times. That one lava level I died a lot, but I usually die on this parkour. I guess I spoke a little too soon because I could still die, but so that's the trick right there. A lot of players think that these fence posts are here just to make the level harder, but they're actually there. I mean, they do make the level harder, which is fine, the parkour. But in addition, you need to be able to get on top of them. And you do that when you had to jump up, you can then jump back onto the fence post. And you needed to do that because this next jump here, not that jump, you have to succeed at that jump first. Oh my goodness. Well, this jump here is not possible, or if it is, it's very difficult, and I don't think it's possible. If it is, then good luck if you get it. I mean, if you try it. I'm okay with the fact that it's possible, if it is possible. I don't know if it is, but anyway, you're supposed to get here, and then you can jump on there, and this is not an easy jump, because you do lose this half block distance. So it's definitely not an easy jump, but it is doable. So I'm not sure if it probably is doable. Either way. And of course we failed. That's only one death though. Sometimes I have like, well then. What's our score at? 166. I am assuming I had gotten the secret rooms, which I didn't, because I didn't want to give away their location so easily. But assuming I'd got them, I'd be at 196 minus, I'll say 5 minutes of time. I don't think it's a full 5 minutes that it takes, but we'll say 5 minutes of time. So I'd be up 25 points. So definitely on track to beat my old score. I'd be at 189 or so. But this isn't helping, that's for sure. You can kind of see the whole thing right there. If you're wondering why there's 2 lanes, it's not because it can be multiplayer. It's because when you hit the reset button, it does several things, but one of the things it does is it has to reset the chamber, and the easiest way I found to do that was basically just to clone it. So it just clones those chambers right over there. Yeah, so that's why they're there, and that's why it's here too. I thought about, hiding all these for when the player's out here, but then I decided it doesn't matter. The player can see the inner workings. It's not like, this isn't a story maps where, I need to hide the inner workings. Oh my goodness. It's not a map where you need to be in the dark about how it all works and everything. I'm not really trying to hide that, so... I'm just curious to see if this jump is possible. Well, not if you don't jump, that's for sure. What if I died 4 times here now? I don't usually die this much. It's normally like 2 or 3. Oh well, I apologize. If I die more than 1 or 2 more times, I'll probably just have to do a little cut-a-rooney here so you guys don't have to watch me fail. I also don't have anything else super interesting to say about this part, so... Alright, here we go. I can feel it. This is the jump. Nope, it was not. Well, alright, instead of cutting, just because that's more work for me, and, why do that? I'm going to do a little cheatsy doodles here. I promise this jump is possible. I'm just struggling on it for some reason. Probably because I'm nervous. Alright, so pretend like we made it. Yay! Yay! Get a little checkpoint here, because obviously we completed this parkour, so we don't have to prove that we know it again. Get all those checkpoints. Alright. This level I actually had to redo a tiny bit after I released the map for the first time. That's why there's a version 1.1. There's one other fix, but it's because there was something you could do extra. Basically, you could collect both of these slime blocks at the end, and I for some reason only thought you could collect one of them. And so basically I had to increase the height of this so that you needed to collect both of them, now that I realized you could. So for this, it's pretty easy. You just have to break one. Obviously, you can't break those bottom ones. Or if you do, you can just place them back. It's not like I'm going to disqualify you. But then you just collect that one. You have to jump off this one. Or otherwise, it won't bounce up high enough. And then you just do that a couple times. Now, this one you can't collect if you jump off here. You don't get enough bounce. But you can collect from here. So what we can do is we can actually place some wool. Of course, it would make sense to break that first. It's okay, though. You place some wool. Oh, that would have been so sad. Oh, that would have been sad. Okay. But you can place these, and now you'll get enough bounce that you can come right back up. And I kind of didn't realize you could do that because I'm not the smartest person in the world, by any stretch of the imagination. Alright, so for this one, this is kind of the final crafting level. The last one's just like a Ender Pearl challenge. So for this one, there's a lot of different things you have to craft. To craft some carpet, some purple carpet. You have to craft these mossy cobblestone walls. That one's pretty easy to figure out. I think it's pretty much the only thing you can use those that cobblestone for. And and then you craft a brick block, and you actually have to craft a flower pot. And you're not allowed to break these, so we just use that and that. Now, something I realized a little bit recently is that you can actually kind of use the same trick you used there with these slime blocks later up here. It's definitely going to be hard, given that there's not as good place for blocks to fall for you to recollect them, but you definitely could use that trick. I decided it wasn't worth the fix because it would have been a pretty complicated fix. Like, I would have had to require you to do that, which I think there was too much luck involved in that, and given that the items could just fall. So I'm glad I didn't implement that, but technically the player could get up here in a way that I didn't intend. But that's okay. Alright, so if we do this, that does let us come up this extra little half block here. You don't have to do that. You can just do it another way. The issue is, if you do it this way, you're actually, well, I'll show you. You're not going to be able to ascend this at the very top. And I wanted to have a trick where you had to do that, but I ended up being unable to find a good way to do it. Because the issue is here now, you need that half block here. So, we're going to have to reset and almost die. This is a good way for me to demonstrate the reset anyway. So what happens when you reset is you just click it. It clones the level. You'll have to redo it, and it sets you to your last checkpoint, to the the end of the last level. And notice we got our checkpoint earlier, so if we do that, yay, we don't have to do that obnoxious parkour. You'll notice this is all completely reset, items in the chest and everything. Obviously, great. Obviously we know how to do this part now, so this should be pretty easy. I say that, and I'm probably going to screw it up because I am a moron, but you never know. Alright, let's go grab these. Let's break these first this time. Alright, let's craft some carpet and craft some purple carpet. Let's take everything out of the chest, because that makes sense. You'll notice, if you were wondering, you can't do slabs with this. Alright, so now we do this. I guess I didn't say this last time. In order to ascend up here, you have to use these specific items. You could use the flower pot later. That's fine. But basically, this lets you get on top of this wall here. Basically, it just gives you that extra boost you need to get up onto the wall and to get over that. Because again, this is 1.5, technically a little more than 1.5 blocks. So, alright. So the way we actually have to do this is like this. And the reason, again, stop it. The reason is basically you have to have the half block. Now notice, a lot of players are probably going to accidentally place it here. But then you can't jump on it and you'll lose, unfortunately. You'll have to reset, is what I mean. So now we use, the same amount of blocks that we did last time, but since we saved these for the end, we're up that extra half block, and now we can make this jump. So we have ascended to the top of this tower. Then we start the final level, level 15, which is an Ender Pearl challenge. You notice you got some regeneration here. It's basically just to negate. I could have given them feather falling boots, but it's just to negate the Ender Pearls. That was a very good throw. So this is technically possible in a pretty small number of Ender Pearls. Generally, I find that I have 2 or 3 left at the end. Oh, I don't think that toss is going to make it. It's definitely oh, look at that. Look at that. So technically, I could have 14 Ender Pearls at this point, but I missed. It definitely is possible to Ender Pearl just to that platform. I find it easier just to Ender Pearl to this one. Still a challenge, but not too hard. But again, we could technically have just gone to this platform that we're Ender Pearling to now. We could have just done that first. Or we could just miss entirely. Either way works. Not true. Did we miss again? Oh my gosh, we did. Alright, there we go. Ah, that looks good. Yes, alright. So 8 pearls, that's a fine position to be in. You don't want to have many less than this, just because it's, you know, you want to have as many left as possible, of course. Nice. I wasn't sure we were going to get that. 5 pearls left, that's definitely enough to complete it. It's not too many spare. Like I said, I'll probably, unless I screw something up, I'll probably have about 2 pearls left when we finish it. Alright. Now this one, you want to get on, there's kind of 2 pillars here. You want to get on top of the first one. Well, you really want to get on top of the second one, but I don't think that's possible from here. You want to end up here. You can end up down here, and that's fine. Originally, I had lava there. But I decided that was a little bit too unforgiving. I wanted the player to be able to overshoot. And, originally, before the lava, it was actually void, or empty space. But I decided to put it there so that this was a little bit easier. And actually, it prevented the player when coming from there to that little box. It prevented them from glitching into this wall. And the issue was if you glitched into that wall, you could just skip that stuff and ender pearl right up there. So that's why I have to have blocks here. And then I put the lava, but I didn't like the lava, so I removed it. So it made it a little bit easier, but still not super easy. Alright, and then we just need to get onto the top of that. I guess I could have added an arrow here just to let the player know that. I should probably do that. I'll do that in the next release of the map. I'm sure there's a few other things I want to add. Ooh, that looks good. It might go a little far. Ah, it did. Alright. Let's try that. Uh-oh, that's definitely far. Alright, this is our last pearl. We're actually going to fail this if we don't hit this. Oh, that looks good. Nope, short. Alright, so we failed. Which is sad. So we just do a little thing like that. Wow, that's a pretty bad score. Look at that. I guess to be fair, I am down the 25 or so points you'd have from the secret rooms. That's okay, though. Alright. Ooh, I got it actually on it. That's kind of cool. Alright. Let's see if we can have a better run here. Nope, that wasn't good. I think that might hit the platform. It depends on what random direction the ender pearl goes. Nope. Alright. Well, we'll take another 2-point hit on the score there. It clears your inventory when you die, so you can't get extra ender pearls if anybody was wondering, trying to look for exploits, because you're that kind of cheaty person. Although I guess that would be my fault for... Oh man, that was a bad toss too. Alright. I think one of those is going to hit the platform. Yeah, okay. I did waste a lot of pearls on that though, which is sad. Oh boy. This is, yeah. This is close to undoable at this point, with just 5 pearls. I'm not sure it is doable. Let's see. Alright, we can do this part in 2. No, it's still doable. It's going to be really challenging, though. Alright, let's see if we can do it. Nope. Alright, that was our... We had to hit every pearl from there on out, and we didn't, so... Unfortunately... Because this toss, if you have an extra one, you can toss like that. You can hit... Oh, I actually didn't know you could do that. I thought you could just hit the wall and then toss it immediately. But you can actually get in there. That's the kind of glitching into the wall thing I wanted to try to avoid, though. It's one of the kind of annoying parts of Ender Pearl challenges. The lava prevents it in that if you Ender Pearl to it, you just die. The regeneration isn't fast enough to save you from the lava. Alright. Well, on my last playthrough, I got this on the first time, too, and I had 3 Ender Pearls left. I was pretty happy. Again, if I don't get it here, I'll probably just do a little Game Mode 1 real quick. You guys don't need to watch me fail over and over again. Alright, we'll just do a little Game Mode 1 here. I guess you don't really need to see the end of the map. That is the end, though, once you complete the parkour. Ender Pearl parkour, if you will. You have to ender pearl up here. Jump down in here. So it's okay if you ender pearl anywhere in there because you'll come down to the finish anyway. Yay! We finished the map. But we've already begun to descend. And after all, everything that comes up must eventually fall. And of course, we come to Descend, a Minecraft map by HBGeek339. And this isn't the start of a new map, it's kind of just a little foreshadowing. Oh, I shouldn't be breaking my map. Just a little foreshadowing for something I hopefully will do. I'd like to make a Descent map next. You might think that would be a little easier, but we'll just have to see. I definitely have some ideas about that already. Probably won't be the next map I make, but I hope to make it at some point. So you can see we got a score of 128, which is, you know, respectable for sure. Obviously, I know the puzzles, so I did have to use the one reset, but I generally didn't have to use any of the hints or resets, so anything over 100 for your first go-round is great. Anything above 150, which is almost, I'd be right around 150, is definitely amazing if it's your first go-round. That's really, really amazing. And if it's not your first go-round, that's still pretty good. I'd be probably right around 153 if I got all of the secret rooms. Secret. So, anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this helped you out if you were struggling on the map. And yeah, again, I'll put the link in the description. And yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.